Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. If you have seen me on Shorts, and I feel like a ton of you have found me on Shorts, I do this little series called Reading a Second for Every Subscriber I have on my booktube channel. It's crazy because when I first started this challenge, let's just say I've had a lot of growth since. As fun as making short form content is, my heart really is in the long form horizontal videos like this one right here. So I've decided, just for the fun of it, why don't we do a Reading a Second for Every Subscriber vlog style? So we're going to be doing days 60 through 65. And who knows, if we're having fun, maybe we'll do an extra day. Now, I've already started the book on day 59, but I thought it would be a full circle moment to start this video with A Court of Thorns and Roses. If you didn't find me from my Shorts videos, you most likely found me from my Sarah J. Maasverse videos. I have been making content for 5 years now, but it wasn't until a year ago when a little video that I made called How to Read the Maasverse came out that this went from a little side hobby to an actual job. So I have so much gratitude and so much sentimentality towards these books, and of course every single subscriber that I have gained. To me, this challenge is almost like a meditative practice to really appreciate every single person as an individual, instead of just seeing 8,000 as a number, or to some people, almost 8,000 subscribers is not a lot. But if you envision 8,000 people, that's crazy. So when I sit down and read for almost 8,000 seconds and I realize how long it feels, as many seconds as I was reading is how many subscribers I have. And it's a really humbling exercise that brings me a lot of joy and makes me have a lot of gratitude and appreciation for you guys. So that's what this series is. It's really just a love letter from me to you. And of course, if you're not a subscriber and you're watching this, this could also be a love letter to you if you tap that little subscribe button. Anywho, let's figure out how much we're gonna read for day one. I currently have 7,915 subscribers, and if we type that into my little math calculator, that will get us to 2 hours, 11 minutes, and 55 seconds. Although I don't think that's enough to finish this book, I think it will definitely get us very close to the end. So let's talk about where I am in ACOTAR right now. I hope I don't break any hearts when I say this, but I'm actually gonna make this a spoiler full vlog. I'm going to be talking very casually about the ACOTAR books throughout this whole video. I'm so sorry. I mostly do spoiler-free videos, but that's because you get my raw, genuine reactions throughout. This is going to be like my third or fourth time reading through this series. If you've read these books before or you don't care for spoilers because maybe it's already been spoiled for you on TikTok, I know that is the story of many people, then by all means, let's talk about where I am in the book. I just got to the part where Tamlin takes Farah out to the Glen, and he is, about to take the glamour off. Obviously, I know that's what happens next. So we're about to get to that point. I would like to, by the end of today's reading, get to the Under the Mountain portion of this book, or at least like the part where she decides to come back to Perithian and gets a warning from Alice or something like that. So I'm going to do a lot of reading on the walking pad today because I have been sitting so much. So I need to move my legs. So we'll probably start off strong on the walking pad until I get tired, or until I walk a mile or so, and then chill to finish today's reading.
Hi, come here. Come on. Hey.
So it turns out I got things a little bit backwards. We had to do Cal and Mai, and then the glamour was removed. Then, of course, everything happens with Rhysand and the whole Claire Better thing, and Tamlin ends up sending her back for her safety. So I just got to the part where Farah basically has been encouraged by Nesta to do whatever it takes for Tamlin if she truly cares about him. And I must say, the first time I read this book, I was proud of Farah for not telling Tamlin that she loved him, because obviously she didn't in that moment feel that way. But now looking back, I'm wow, the whole book could have ended, but then she wouldn't have gotten her actual happy ending that we know her to have now. So I have a lot of conflicting feelings and emotions about that. Now, I have 59 minutes left. I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting a little tired of reading. I actually did a lot of reading this morning for a different video, so we're tired, okay? But we are now about to see Alice and get the whole explanation from Alice of everything that went down, then go under the mountain. So we're definitely getting to that point today, and we just got past the halfway point. So I guess 1, I'm reading faster than I thought I would, and 2, what are you doing? And 2, I think the whole under the mountain portion just happened a lot sooner than I thought. I have a fun little date tonight. Me and Sebastian are going to be watching a new TV show that just came out on Disney Plus tonight. And there's an hour and a half worth of episodes that were just released. So I need to finish this reading very quickly. If actually I need to just start now. I was able to read through the first and second of the trials that Amarantha puts Farah on, and the timer went off with literally 30 pages left. And now we're to today. Now, I'll be so for real and so honest with you. I was planning on waking up early today, getting my reading done first thing in the morning. Unfortunately, however, it is already 6 p.m. and my bedtime is 9. So we unfortunately just got to get this done, even though I don't look that cute, even though I've had a really rough day, if I'm being so for real. But nothing makes me happier than 1, rereading books that I love, and 2, like I said, this is very meditative for me and it fills me with so much gratitude. So honestly, I think what I need right now is to do this challenge. We are going to read the last 30 pages of A Court of Thorns and Roses, and then we are going to start A Court of Mist and Fury. Now, I'm very excited to see how far into this book we get. I know everything that happens in this book, but I don't remember exactly the exact order of events in this book. So yeah, I definitely remember how this book ends. To me, this book has one of the best endings in the whole series. And we're clearly not making it through this 500 plus page book today, but we're definitely gonna do some damage on it, hopefully, maybe. Also, I really feel like I need to walk, so I think we're gonna start this again on the walking pad. Why am I looking over here? Was there something I wanted over here? I don't think so. Now, the moment of truth. How many subscribers do we have? It's an even number. Looks like I have 7,940 subscribers. And when I type that into the time calculator, it turns into 2 hours, 12 minutes, and 20 seconds. I'm just gonna read until I get tired, and then we will check in. It didn't take me very long to finish A Court of Thorns and Roses and pick up A Court of Mist and Fury, and I must say, I forgot how slow this book starts off, but thankfully it picked up pretty soon after that. And I didn't intend to walk throughout the entirety of reading it, but I honestly have been so sick of sitting all day that it was no issue walking until the timer went off. Now, I did make it to chapter 17, which is page 182. Technically, I think I'm on page 183. And basically, we have come to the conclusion that Jorian's eye and finger bone is missing. Maybe they plan to turn him into a human again, and we need to talk to the bone carver. I love the bone carver parts. Also the skin weaver. I love the creatures in ACOTAR. So I am very excited. Honestly, I hate to be done reading, but it's my bedtime in 8 minutes, so we're gonna have to be done for today. I did not post anything today, so I highly doubt we're gonna get many subscribers overnight, especially because we started at night. I'm hoping to start in the morning tomorrow. Maybe. Then again, that was the plan today, and we see how that went. We'll just have to wait and see how many subscribers I have for day 3. Welcome to day 3, and today I have 7,956 subscribers, which means today we're reading for 2 hours, 12 minutes, and 36 seconds. I forgot a mic. So sorry about that. So I had a bunch of unexpected plans be made for the last part of this day, and I literally started off the first part of my day cranking out editing and stuff so that I could do this in the evening, but now I actually have evening plans, and I quite literally have 3 hours till my evening plans. So we are just going to crank out. I have 2 hours till my evening plans. So let's hope the person who's coming over is late and let's start reading. I have no plans other than to crank through majority of A Court of Mist and Fury. That's quite literally it. For emotional support, we have one of my favorite carbonated drinks as well as 3 emotional support Oreos. Let's get cracking on this book. We got to see the bone carver, Farah started her training, the Bat Boys got to meet the Archeron sisters. We had a very lovely and stressful adventure in the summer court. We met the Mortal Queens and we finished off officially going to the Hewn City, or the Court of Nightmares. I love the Court of Nightmares scene, and honestly, okay, hot take, the first half of this book is pretty slow. And compared to the second half of the book, just not as good. I've always really struggled with the portion of books where 2 people very clearly have chemistry and they're just like denying it. So I really do like when Farah and Rhysand finally get together because I feel like we can actually like focus more on the plot. Although I do like the banter of them pretending like they don't like each other and Rhysand giving her space to heal and make sure this is what she wants. Like I do appreciate all of that. However, I'm ready for them to just be together. So we're not too far off from that, probably like 100 or so pages. Thankfully, my friend did text me and say that she is going to be late. So I'm glad I predicted that. Also kind of relieved that we got all the reading done in one sitting. That was kind of crazy. It really flew by. I might just read until my friend gets here, realistically. So please forgive me if I'm a little further than page 404 tomorrow. I'm happy to say that we have officially broke 8,000 subscribers and now have 8,028, which means today we read for 2 hours, 13 minutes, and 48 seconds. Something not so exciting though is why I didn't speak to the camera this day. I actually got some really heartbreaking news and I was really going through it on this day and I really just did not want to show up on camera. I didn't think it would be good if I did, but I did think escaping into one of my favorite book series was the best thing for me. So here is day 4 where we finished A Court of Mist and Fury and we started A Court of Wings and Ruin. And now we're on day 5. I actually think usually when I do like 1 week challenges, I just do 5 or 6 days. But I think I want to move it up to 7 because I really want to at least get to A Court of Silver Flames. And at this rate, I don't think I will, even though last night I couldn't sleep. And I woke up early this morning needing some emotional support. So I actually did continue to read ACOTAR. I didn't get too far in. I just read like a good chunk more, like a little over 100 pages more. I'm sorry. So I'm on page 188 currently. Thankfully, got back to the part where Farah is back in the night court. As much as I love everything that happens at the beginning of this book, it does kind of stress me out. And we are getting to the point where like, so right now they're planning the big meeting with all the High Lords, which to me is one of the most iconic moments. If you've seen this video, which me and Caitlin did together, which is the top 10 best and worst moments in ACOTAR, we talk about this like High Lord meeting and how much we both love it. So that's a bit of a spoiler for that video if you plan to watch it. And also I did want to take a second to say a couple things. One, thank you so much for your patience yesterday. But you know what? Today we're feeling great. And today I'm also wanting to take a moment to say thank you so much for 8K. Like I hate that what happened yesterday happened because I was so ready to like come on camera and be so excited about 8K. And, you know, I took a minute. I took some time for myself. It was really hard to get on camera, but I still did it. I'm glad that I did it. Reading and walking really did help. And now I can just be like excited about not only 8K, but we now have 8,080 subscribers, which is so fun. And that means today we're reading for 2 hours, 14 minutes, and 40 seconds. Now, I also made a mistake because I was having such a fun day today. And it's actually my anniversary and me and my husband have plans to take this trip, but we wanted to like just spend some time together today at home. So we did a little like staycation, played some video games together, had a great time. But now the downside is that we actually, it's not a downside. I take that back. It's not a downside. We have friends who we, for the longest time, have been saying like we need to hang out sometime. And sometime turned into tonight and like a let's hang out in an hour. So obviously I'm not going to get all the reading done in an hour before they get here. So I'm going to read as much as I can, which is why I'm talking so fast right now, because I need to start reading. I'm going to read as much as I can until they get here. And then later tonight, we're going to keep reading. So we're going to read way past the bedtime today. I'm just calling it. So by all means, let's just start this timer and see how far we get before I have to put the book down. And of course, I'll just brief intermission and then come back later. I really didn't get that much reading done, just about 45 minutes before our friends got here. And we had a blast. But now it is time to finish our hour and a half of reading. I will say it's just about midnight right now. My bedtime is 9 p.m. and I stick to that. The only time you will catch me breaking my 9 p.m. bedtime is for like a reading vlog or a reading challenge if I haven't hit like whatever quota I've set for myself by my bedtime. So I'm already like really tired and now we're just gonna stay up till like 2 a.m. No biggie. I'm so sleeping in tomorrow. This is crazy. I'm just going to keep reading ACOTAR. I mean, there's nothing left really to say. Not much has happened. Actually, there is something I need to say. I know everyone is so hung up on who Elaine is going to end with. Everyone's like, she's going to end up with Azriel, or she's going to end up with Lucian, or she's going to end up with Tamlin. And like, don't get me wrong. Every single time I saw one of those and I would hear out their reasons why, I'm like, yeah, like those are good reasons. But the thing is, obviously not all three of those can be true. So in my mind, like in this reread, reading everything with the mindset that like Azriel and Elaine and Lucian are going to be like very big players in the next book. I also think that Tamlin's going to play a pretty big role as well. So to me, like anytime anything is said about them, like I pay close attention. And a couple things that have really caught my eye. Farah seems to just like naturally assume that like Elaine and Azriel are gonna end up together. Weird. Then obviously like Lucian and the whole mating thing, I maybe am leaning away a bit from the Elaine and Lucian ending up together type idea, because the issues that we have with Tamlin from book 1, which was his like possessiveness of Farah and the way that he felt like she was an object that he basically owned. I think the words that they frequently use is that like she was his pet. I feel like that's how Lucian sees Elaine in the way that he talks about her, and he keeps being like, she's mine. And I know like technically Farah and Rhysand use that lingo together, but they've both accepted the mating bond, and it's like a very consensual relationship, clearly. I mean, like they're married and everything. They love each other, okay? Lucian literally like has not even had like a conversation with Elaine before he's like, she's mine. I own her. I have the right to her. Like, that's a lot. I also think that because, and Sarah J. Maas does not just do this stuff for fun. After reading Throne of Glass, if you've read Throne of Glass, you know, if she brings attention to any one thing multiple times, or if she like deep dives into something unnecessarily, or what feels like unnecessarily in the moment, 110% chance it's going to come back in the future. I literally just read, I'm like, what, almost page 300? So like in the late 200s, Rhysand for paragraphs goes into what it looks like factually when a female rejects her mate, what it does to the male, what it does to the female, what's acceptable in certain courts, what's acceptable in his court. That to me was like, so that's definitely what's going to happen. I think we're going to see Elaine refusing her bond with Lucian. First of all, because we only ever hear about it, we haven't seen it. And I think it would be cool for SJM to actually do that and let us see someone breaking a bond and what that looks like. But also, Rhysand goes so deep into the fact that like the Night Court is one of the very few, if not one of the only courts where the female is protected, and any future man that she falls in love with is protected in the Night Court if she rejects the mating bond. Whereas like in other places, like the male in the mating relationship has the right to kill any future lovers of his mate, even if she rejects him. Like that is crazy psycho behavior. But that's like totally allowed in most courts, including Spring and Autumn, which is the court that raised Lucian and the court where Lucian spent most of his adult life. Just, okay. Come here. Are you okay? Come on. I believe in you. I'll help you this time. I didn't know you were jumping. Come on. There you go. You made it. Good girl. That was chaotic. I also thought the iPad was gonna fall off the bed and break. So that was horrifying. So yeah, those are just a couple thoughts. Obviously, like I said, I'm not like 100% any which way. I'm just making a point this time while I'm reading to pay much closer attention to those characters because I think there's some foreshadowing. And I'm excited for the next book, but I don't know what to expect. And I'm fine with that. But I also would like to be able to read this and see the foreshadowing. It's only getting later. Let's just do it. This book is so heavy, I had to grunt to pick it up. We are currently on page 275. Let's see how much further we can get. I'll be dead honest, I was so delusionally tired last night that I kept forgetting to record anything, but I did finish the challenge at a whopping 1:30 a.m. Because I stayed up so late, I woke up with the most insane migraine this morning. It was horrible. And as you know, when you have a bad migraine, you don't want to look at a screen. Like the blue light just kind of like makes it worse. There is a bug. That is annoying. The blue light just kind of aggravates the migraine. So, of course, I read ACOTAR, and I'm so glad that I did because I got to read through like all of the High Lords gathering because to me that is just like an insanely iconic moment in the ACOTAR book. And I read up until the beginning of the war and I just was like, you know what, maybe I should stop, vlog the process of reading this on camera instead of just like reading majority of the book. So here I am with ACOTAR and I have a little under 200 pages left. Unless for whatever reason I'm reading at a crazy slow rate, we are definitely going to be getting to A Court of Frost and Starlight. This book is not like my favorite, but like I like it. It's fun. It's a novella. Even novellas of like my favorite book series ever have always kind of fallen flat. Like novellas don't really provide much. They're just like fun little extra tidbits here and there. So you know what? It's a nice introduction to A Court of Silver Flame, so I will take it. So I think we're just gonna sit down and crank this out. I just realized the bookshelf is off center and that's gonna drive me a little crazy, so we're gonna move over here. So we hit another benchmark, and for me, anytime that I hit like a 100 marker, it's like a huge benchmarker to me. We are already at 8,101 subscribers, which is so awesome and amazing. It's very surreal, and so I'm excited that I'm vlogging at the same time as this, so I can really just like capture how amazing this moment is, and hopefully maybe in the future when I hit bigger numbers, it'll be cool to see how like crazy and exciting hitting 8K was for me. Some of you are not on this video for my growth journey, and that's okay. We're just gonna get going with reading A Court of Wings and Ruin with 2 hours, 15 minutes, and 1 second. It only took me about an hour and a half before I was officially able to say that I was done with A Court of Wings and Ruin. And let me just say, it was a far more emotional experience than I expected, but I quickly jumped into A Court of Frost and Starlight, and we actually got almost exactly halfway through before the timer went off. I don't know what clicked for me this time because this isn't my first time reading the books. This isn't my second time. I think this is my third or fourth time reading the books. But to me, this time, like, I kept getting actual chills. I kept having moments where like there was a shiver up my spine because not that I was envisioning it, but I was actually feeling the emotional impact of every single moment. So I don't know if I was just like emotionally unavailable every single time that I read that part of this book, which is highly possible. I mean, I am such a mood reader and I can be pretty real about the fact that there are certain books that I hate, and I know for a fact it was just that I read that book during a certain phase of my life, or I read that book while I was in a certain mood, and then vice versa. There was a book that I thought was amazing and the best book ever, and I was like, realistically, if I wasn't like on vacation when I read that book, or I hadn't read that book for like this particular reading challenge that I loved, like I might not have been as obsessed with it. It's highly possible that the first couple times that I read ACOTAR, I just didn't emotionally connect, but I actually was wrecked. I definitely teared up twice. Obviously, Death of the Surreal. That one always hit hard because I love the Surreal, and there's a multiverse theory about who the Surreal is, and I'm not going to spoil any other Sarah J. Maas series for you if you've only read ACOTAR, so I won't say who I think it is, but if you have read them, most likely you've heard the theory. So that one really hits hard for me every single time, but surprisingly, it wasn't the death of Rhysand himself. It was after his death, when Farah's begging everyone to like give him a kernel of their power to save him, and it comes down to Tamlin. And she's like, Tamlin, I will give you anything. Just save his life. Like, I'll do anything. I'll give you anything. Just save his life. And he literally gives Rhysand the kernel of power, and he just says, be happy, Farah. That actually wrecked me. I don't know why. That absolutely wrecked me this time reading it. I've never felt super emotionally moved by that moment. I feel like I always just kind of focused on like the fact that, you know, Rhysand was dead. But now obviously that I know that he's alive and well and he does survive that moment, I don't know, it just really hit different this time. And I'm a little sad. The timer went off right when Rhysand got to the Spring Court, when he's going to see Tamlin, and he basically finds out that the Spring Court is a total wreck because Farah did a very good job during ACOTAR. I love that chapter, but I guess we're gonna have to continue it tomorrow. Welcome to day 7 and the final day of this challenge. I feel great. I'm also just so stinking excited because today we're finishing a Court of Frost and Starlight and we are going to a Court of Silver Flames, and that means we will have officially touched every single book as part of this challenge. There was a little bit of cheating here and there where I read when the timer wasn't on, but you know what? That's fine. We don't count that. All that matters is that I am having fun. Also, I gained hardly any subscribers last night, which is honestly pretty understandable. I haven't really been posting, if I'll be so for real and so for honest with you. During this whole challenge, like I had, I think, a couple things that I had filmed and edited before that were like set to post that may be posted during like the first 3 days, but that's it. So my channel could use some love. Do I need to open the windows? It feels a little dark in here. Oh, wow. How about now? Is that better? Probably not at all. Anywho, I wanted to try something new. I started walking during videos probably like 2 or 3 vlogs ago, and it has changed my life, and I'm so glad that I started doing it. However, the iPad is almost dead, and I was like, oh shoot, I can't really put my iPad here and it be fully charged. And then I had the idea, I literally have a computer monitor up here that I use to edit my videos. Why not just put the timer here? There you go. And that way it's like I can see it too, because usually when the iPad's up here, I can't really see it because you guys are actually pretty far away. And my eyesight is not great. Thank you, father's genetics. I'm like really in the mood to walk, and I'm ready to walk for this entire 2 hours, 15 minutes, and 10 seconds because we currently have 8,110 subscribers. But I also know that I'm going on a hike later today, like a really chill one, but I am going on one. But also, I haven't really been active today at all. So you know what? It doesn't hurt to get too much walking in on one day. Don't look too deep into that statement because that's definitely not true. Let's start. I just read 30 pages of my book and then realized I never started the timer. Cool. Cool. Guess we're getting extra far today. I actually have a lot more thoughts and feelings about A Court of Frost and Starlight after finishing it this reread than I thought I would, given the fact that it is this tiny novella. But like I said earlier, I am looking at the series this time, really thinking about like potentials for the upcoming book. And one of the big things that I have paid very close attention to is who Elaine seems like she's gravitating towards. Woo, I almost just broke my leg. That was actually very scary. Let's pause this, actually. Also, I have no qualms about letting the timer run because I read so much with the timer on, so I will just let it go for a couple seconds. It's not even going to match the time that I actually read with the timer paused. Let me just say, in the past when I'd read these, I was focusing way more on the men's interest in Elaine. I didn't really notice as much interest coming from Asriel, and I noticed a ton of interest coming from Lucian. In A Court of Frost and Starlight, not only do we see Elaine just like so fed up and not even remotely interested in Lucian, we always see her as like a more passive character, but then the second Lucian is involved, she gets teeth. So to me, that could mean that, you know, there's like a type of like passion and fire there that she doesn't have typically that she has with Lucian. And I mean, I think that's just a sign of them being mates, but then again, she can still reject that mating bond because mates just means that there's like a soul tie there. It doesn't actually mean anything about actual romantic feelings. I don't know how I've missed it. Like, it's not that I didn't know it existed and this was my first time noticing it, but this was the first time I really saw this scene truly. And that is when Elaine gives Asriel his winter solstice gift and his response to it and her response to his response to it. I actually, like, if I wouldn't have killed me because I was on a treadmill, I would have been like kicking my little feet, giggling. I could not believe how adorable that was. Also, I have been paying really close attention to Asriel, and yeah, like, he's Rhysand Spymaster, and he definitely has a role there, and I like how he is with the whole Inner Circle group. However, his character and personality really shines through around Elaine. So I'm excited to see how much more I see in A Court of Silver Flames, which we are actually about to start. Oh my goodness. I must say, A Court of Silver Flames, I really do struggle with this book. As someone who deals with the heartaches and the traumas in their life by taking a minute introspectively and kind of putting myself off to the side and like dealing with it in like a more like quiet way. The fact that Nesta just like lashes out at people all the time, that's just not something that I can relate to really. And so it really frustrates me when I read it because I'm like, why are you lashing out at people? Everyone handles things differently, and I know that. I feel like even people who love Nesta can confirm that the beginning of this book is really frustrating to read. But you know what? We have an hour and a half to read, so let's just get going. Look, I don't know what Bloomsbury Publishing put in A Court of Silver Flames, but this book, for some reason, feels so much heavier to carry than A Court of Wings and Ruins did. So I had to keep like just letting it sit on the desk and like walk and looking at it. I also had a near-death experience or two on the treadmill. And I ultimately got to page 170 before the timer went off. I'm exhausted. I think it's something about, well, first of all, walking for 2 hours, you know, like it takes something out of you. Walking for 2 hours while trying to hold this book up was like a whole ab workout for whatever reasons. I must say, I'm having different feelings reading this for the third time. It's less frustrating. I don't know how else to put it. I'm definitely still like I don't think Nesta's actions have been justified up until this point. I very much stand by it's one thing to be hurting, but to force other people to hurt and bring other people down in your hurt is just never acceptable. But I definitely do feel for Nesta more than I have in the past. I think a big part of it is just that I am a very big like Farah person. I love her and I sympathize with her and I feel like I relate to her in a lot of ways. So I want what's best for her and I see her like finally getting this happy ending she deserves. And then her sister decides to make her the villain of her problems. And that to me just like is so frustrating because it's like Farah is not your enemy. If anything, Farah is one of the last few people in this world who hasn't given up on you yet, and you seem determined to make her give up on you. And obviously I know that's like a really shallow, like high overview of like what actually is happening in this book, but that's kind of just like the summary quick. If I had to elevator pitch my grievances with this book, that is it. I also wish, and here's my thing, and I'm going to say this because if I don't, some of y'all are going to think I'm a Nesta hater, and I'm not. I think this book was meant to be Nesta's redemption arc. In my opinion, her redemption arc actually starts at the end of this book. Redeeming did not actually happen, in my opinion. I do think we got like the internal, everything that needed to happen in order for her to want that redemption arc, because you have to want it. Like if you have truly hit rock bottom, in order to bounce back up, you truly have to want it. Once you hit rock bottom, your choices are stay on rock bottom, lay on the floor and knock it up, or know that the only way you can go is up and do your best to try. And I do think at the end of the book, we see Nesta making that decision. But to me, that just makes this book so unsatisfying because it's like, yeah, I know that she wants to start working up from rock bottom, but what's that actually going to look like? Because sometimes people try and people fail. We don't want them to fail, but sometimes they do. And healing isn't linear, and I know that. So, like I said, I'm really excited for the next book because I want the upcoming book number 5, if you will. I really, really, really want to read it and be like, yes, Nesta, thank you. Like, you know, actually see her becoming the person she was always meant to be and using all of her power for good. And for anyone who's going to be like, well, she saved her sister's life, I'm sorry, saving your sister's life is the bare minimum. I really hope that this is just a foundation for an amazing redemption arc and that the next book is going to be justifying the end moment here where Nesta decides to turn stuff around and like is actually the fruit of that decision. So this book, I feel like now that I'm looking at it as like a potential for future redemption arcs from Nesta, I feel like I'm looking at this less judgmentally. Whereas when I first read this book, I thought this was supposed to be the redemption arc, and I was very disappointed and I was very upset. That's definitely not what it was. So yeah, that's my mini rant and my hopes and dreams for the next book. Also, Elaine has a lot more teeth than I remember. And I really am interested to get inside of her brain and like see what she's like. So yeah, those are my thoughts and feelings. As for the challenge itself, thoughts and feelings, this was phenomenal. Honestly, it's such an exciting time. I feel like for me as a YouTuber, obviously like getting laid off from my job unexpectedly was really heartbreaking. And in today's job market, it's kind of a nightmare to find a job. But I think whenever I'm not applying to jobs, I've really found a lot of peace and solace in filming these videos and editing these videos and, you know, getting a lot of love and traction from you guys. And of course, it's my only stream of income right now. So that's like another side thing, which makes it exciting for growth because before, like, the money was never what I was in this for. I mean, I did this for 4 years before I made a single penny off of it. And now that I'm finally at a point where I can make money off of it, it's coming at a time where I need that more than ever. So that's just been lovely. And I have never been more thankful for YouTube in my life. So thank you for being one of the 8,110 people who are subscribed to the channel. And if you're not, then you should definitely join the party because we have a lot of fun over here. And I will see you next week for another fun, exciting bookish video.